Wild boars are tearing through Manitoba's prairies under the cover of night, caught on trail cameras, ripping up crops and leaving fields in ruins, costing farmers thousands of dollars in a single night. These 200 to 300 pound pests don't just destroy corn and wheat, they spread diseases that could devastate livestock and even charge farm equipment, putting rural communities at risk. Manitoba is facing a growing crisis that's hitting hard and fast, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Can farmers, hunters and conservationists stop these invaders before they overrun the heartland? These wild boars, introduced in the 1980s as livestock, broke free from farms and spread across areas like Spruce Woods and the Turtle Mountains, about 120 miles southwest of Winnipeg. A single sow can produce 6 to 12 piglets a year, and their knack for surviving Manitoba's brutal winters by burrowing under snow makes them nearly impossible to stop. They've wrecked thousands of acres of farmland, uprooted native plants and muddied water sources with bacteria that threaten cattle and pigs. Across North America, wild boars cause $1.5 billion, 0 cents in damages every year, and Manitoba's losses are piling up fast. To combat the invasive wild boar population, the Squeal on Pigs Manitoba program employs a range of advanced strategies. Trap enclosures are used to capture entire wild boar groups, or sounders, to prevent them from scattering. Local farmers and residents also help by reporting sightings via the 1833 Spot Pig hotline, aiding in the mapping of wild boar activity across Manitoba. Other methods, such as planting garlic or thorn bushes, are also being explored to keep boars out of fields. However, the program faces a major challenge: Manitoba's unrestricted wild boar hunting season. The hunting season in Manitoba has no limit on the number of boars that can be shot, attracting hunters from both Canada and the US, especially from states like Texas and Oklahoma, where wild boar hunting is a popular sport. While farmers aim to protect crops by reducing the boar population, hunters often see it as a thrilling adventure. Some even release wild boars illegally to sustain the sport, hindering population control efforts. Experts warn that hunting not only disrupts boar groups, but also drives them to nocturnal activity, making it even harder to trap them. Wild boar hunting with rifles has deeply divided public opinion, with each method involved adjusting scopes, carrying ammo, and using tracking cameras. Wild boar hunting with rifles has deeply divided public opinion, with expanding ammo and using tracking cameras. Wild boar hunting with bowlers has deeply divided, conferring the boner for the boar throat. A well-aimed shot can drop a boar instantly, but if it misses, the entire sounder scatters, teaching the boars to avoid humans. While effective and fast, rifle hunting can make boar groups more wary and harder to control. On the other hand, bow hunters face different challenges. Using compound bows with 60-pound draw weights and broadhead arrows, they must get within 20 yards, a risky distance due to the boar's sharp hearing and sense of smell. A precise shot is essential since their thick fat and skin can deflect weak shots. While bows are quieter and cause less disturbance to the boar groups, they require higher skill and have a lower success rate compared to rifles. American hunters, used to powerful gear like AR-15s and night vision scopes, are drawn to Manitoba's less regulated hunting environment. However, regardless of the method, controlling the wild boar population requires eliminating 70% of them annually, a goal that hunting alone struggles to achieve. You already know that Florida's terrain is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to wild hog hunting. Wild hog hunting in Florida typically takes place in the Lake Wales Ridge area, where hunters face steep slopes and jagged rocks. Multi-day group hunts typically last 2 to 3 days, requiring endurance and close coordination. The harsh terrain makes for slow movement with the risk of slipping or falling and exhaustion. One study found that hunters could only take 4 hogs per day before becoming exhausted, especially in large mountainous areas. To overcome this, hunters use large caliber rifles such as the D38 Winchester to shorten hunting distances. At the time of application, the number of wild hogs hunted was 75% and reduced travel time, ensuring the health of the hunters. But even the fierce hunting on the steep terrain of Lake Wales Ridge can't stop wild boars from wreaking havoc. In Florida, the varied terrain from the flooded Everglades to the arid lands disturbed by urban development has altered the habits of wild pigs. According to the US Department of Agriculture, wild pigs cause $1,500,000,000, 0 cents in damage yearly. The expansion of residential areas has reduced their natural habitat, pushing wild pigs into urban areas and beaches like Palm Beach. Pressures from habitat loss and scarce food sources fuel this aggressive behaviour. In Florida wild hog hunting, hunters often use powerful rifles like the 308 Winchester, which can take down a 300-pound hog from 250 yards. These rifles have superior stopping power, with around 2,800 foot-pounds of energy. In contrast, handguns like the 44 Magnum or 10M Auto are less effective, producing only around 1,200 foot-pounds and are suitable for short-range shooting under 100 yards. Given the wild hog's aggressive nature, rifles are the best choice for this important hunt. Wild hog hunting laws are key to controlling this invasive species. In Florida, there is no limit on the number of wild hogs that can be hunted on private land with the landowner's permission. On public land, hunters must have a valid license and use non-toxic ammunition. Wild hogs are highly intelligent and constantly change their feeding habits, making them difficult to track. Hunters have responded by building fences and using baits like corn to lure them. These strategies have reduced the wild hog population by 20% in areas like Myakka River State Park, helping to protect crops and ecosystems. If you're in close range hunting, how will you handle it? Run away or shoot without precision? Without the right skills, failure is inevitable. So here is a lesson for you. Use a long-range binocular to prepare to capture the behavior of wild boars from a distance of more than 300 yards, turning the chaotic chase into a calculated pursuit. This is a turning point, helping the hunter confidently move closer and make the perfect shot. After a long day of hunting, the reward is a sumptuous feast. In Florida, wild boar meat is processed into dishes such as roasts or sausages, which provide rich flavor with little fat. Hunters must inspect the meat for parasites and cook it safely. In counties like Polk, community gatherings celebrate the hunt, with hunters sharing stories and celebrating their wild boar victories. With more than 268,000 square miles of grasslands, forests and wetlands, Texas is a haven for wild boars. The warm climate, abundant water from thousands of streams and a rich diet of acorns and roots help them thrive. But this bounty also makes them a nightmare, destroying millions of acres of land and defying all attempts at control. Brought to the United States by Spanish explorers in the 16th century, wild boars have become one of the most dangerous invasive species. With an estimated population of 9 million, they are present in more than 35 states, from Florida to California. In Texas, they cause $2.5 billion, 0 cents in damage each year, destroying millions of acres of corn, soybeans and wheat. female pig can give birth to up to 12 piglets a year, causing the population to grow rapidly. Weighing 75 to 400 pounds, running at speeds of 30 miles per hour, and with large tusks, wild boars pose a threat not only to crops but also to humans. One West Texas farmer said he was once chased and nearly knocked down by a 250-pound pig while checking his fence. To combat wild hogs, Texas farmers have built steel fortresses called corrals that are up to 40 feet wide and 6 feet high to prevent them from jumping out. Wild boar trapping can catch a herd of 20 to 30 animals at a time. The trick is to place the wild boar trapping in the right location, near a stream or large lake, where the pigs often gather to drink. Signs like rutted soil or 3-inch footprints are important clues. One big surprise is fermented corn bait. Soaking corn in water for 5 to 7 days creates a scent that catches the hogs off guard. One Corral County farmer caught 40 in one night by simply setting the traps near a lake and using fermented corn. But to succeed, they must overcome the invasive species' incredible intelligence. Wild boars are not so easily defeated. They are active mainly between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. and have a frightening ability to learn. Many farmers make the mistake of using weak wire mesh, which allows the boars to break through the traps in minutes. Another serious mistake is closing the trap gates too early, catching only a few animals and allowing the herd to continue breeding. Or worse, if the trapped pigs let out a distress call, they alert the entire area, causing the remaining boars to stay away from the trap forever. According to the USDA, a single failure can make the boars smarter, making the trap much more difficult to work with. This turns the fight into a risky game of cat and mouse. How do you beat wild hogs? The answer is patience and technology. Texas farmers leave trap gates open for 5 to 7 days, allowing the hogs to get used to eating the bait without suspicion. They use infrared cameras to monitor the traps, closing the remote-controlled gates only when 80% of the herd is in the trap. Once caught, the hogs must be moved within an hour to avoid warning calls. Another surprising strategy? Change the location of the wild boar trapping every 3 to 4 months to trick the wild boar's memory. With these techniques, some farmers have a success rate of as much as 70%, saving thousands of acres of land each year. In addition, the use of wild boar trapping using iron cages and more aggressive methods such as poison, which will be allowed in Texas starting in 2024, has sparked fierce debate. Animal rights groups called the traps cruel, while ecologists warn that mass culling could upend ecosystems, threatening native species like deer and migratory birds. Farmers say doing nothing would be catastrophic, with wild boars destroying 100,000 acres of wetlands each year, endangering water supplies and biodiversity. So, what's the right answer? The video raises awareness of a global problem, promotes sustainable solutions, and inspires communities to take action against invasive species. The fight against wild boars is not just about protecting crops, it's about protecting livelihoods and the future of communities. Through ingenuity and perseverance, Texas farmers are fighting back against these invaders.
Wild boar hunting has become a major challenge in Texas, where hunters are fighting back against the invasive species. But what's driving the wild boar problem? The state's 267,000 square miles of forested and swampy countryside are the perfect refuge for them. Mild winters and long summers keep them active year-round, while crops like corn and wheat provide an easy food source. In addition, the region's abundant vegetation and lack of natural predators have caused the wild boar population to explode, costing Texas farmers $500 million, 0 cents, a year. With wild boar populations booming, wild boar hunting in Texas has become a high-stakes operation. The biggest change in preparing for this wild boar hunt in Texas is the use of thermal scopes. No longer relying solely on daylight or traditional wild boar hunting techniques, hunters now depend on this advanced technology to track boars in the dead of night. The thermal imaging allows them to spot the heat signatures of boars even in thick brush, where they would otherwise remain hidden. It's a game changer, allowing them to hunt smarter, not harder, by giving them a tactical advantage in the most challenging terrain. With the boars becoming more elusive, this new gear has become essential to success. After hours of stalking through dense brush, the hunters were ready to make the knockdown. The five-man team had spent weeks preparing, scouting 200 acres of destroyed farmland, mapping wild boar trails, and rehearsing their strategy. Armed with 308 Winchester rifles, each loaded with 150-grain bullets for maximum stopping power, the knockdown, which saved a local farmer $10,000 0 cents in crop damage, proved that their teamwork and firepower were unstoppable in this Texas fight. On many hunts, you also need to know that mistakes in wild boar hunting are not only due to bad technique, but also due to natural conditions. Hunters must tread lightly, check for loose branches or dry leaves, and move into the wind to hide their scent. Rushing in excitement can spook wild boars, costing farmers $10,000, 0 cents of their savings on a hunt. The solution is to pause, scan the ground, and synchronize your steps with the group to avoid detection. One wrong move and the hunt is over before it even begins. The hunters had a new plan for the boar hunt. No more chasing. It was time to set the trap. After days of tracking, every hoofprint and footprint had been mapped to find the boar's favorite feeding grounds. A Jaeger Pro MINP's cage trap, 20 feet wide and 5 feet high, was made from steel plates strong enough to capture the boar. "50 pounds of corn were scattered inside, and motion sensors were wired directly to the phone, ready to send an alert as soon as the boar entered. Then, with a tap, the gate slammed shut. It cost $2,500, 0 cents to install, but one pull could save farmers a lot of damage. This is a battle with smarter tools. So, what would you do? Hunt them or trap them smartly? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Across Texas, the hunting of these animals is a hotly debated issue. Animal rights groups call it cruel, arguing that the 2.6 million wild boars knocked down each year deserve to be replaced humanely, not with bullets and traps. They point to the disrupted ecosystem, warn that hunting can harm native wildlife, and raise moral red flags. Viewers, where do you stand? Continue wild boar hunting or find another way? I believe that legalized hunting will ensure the natural balance. Farmers are fighting back and reclaiming their land from wild boars. But this is a warning to all hunters not to let their guard down and take further precautions against wild boar invasions.
In 2023, at the Vancouver Wildlife Research Facility in British Columbia, Canada, a red fox research project encountered an unforeseen disaster. The study aimed at controlling and conserving the red fox population failed when a genetic experiment went wrong, causing over 5 million rabid red foxes to escape from the research area. This sudden increase has affected residents in the Vancouver suburbs as they have become so common in homes and causing disturbances that residents are worried about.
Here's a good boy. Come on in. Come on. Here you go. There's a good boy. There's a good boy. Come on. In you go. In you go.
By June 2024, over 300 households have reported red fox attacks and property damage. However, there have been no recorded cases of red fox attacks on humans. To stop the spread of rabid red foxes, Canadian authorities have launched an emergency large-scale hunting campaign. Woo! The campaign is focused on the suburbs of Vancouver, where the red fox problem is the worst in Canada. Got him! However, only hunters who have completed a year-long hunting training course, a rigorous training course that is only offered every half-decade, can be fined up to $20,000 and face permanent loss of their hunting license. Only hunters 23 years of age and older are allowed to participate during this hunting season. They will be given a stipend that covers registration fees, hunting equipment, and transportation to the hunting area. Hunting must be done at a minimum distance of 150 yards to ensure the safety of the hunter. Hunting too close can be risky, especially during the rabid red fox season. Hunting season in Canada runs from November to January, and hunters are allowed to hunt at night for about 6 hours each night to ensure safety. At night, the type of gun used is different from the day. The A10 rifle is equipped with a thermal scope and a silencer to increase accuracy and reduce noise. In addition, a new trend is growing in Canada is the use of mountain bikes when traveling to hunt. On it. An effective combination is the use of bows and arrows. This method is mainly applied in densely forested and mountainous areas where the terrain is difficult to access with a gun. About 500 hunters have participated in this method in the Vancouver area, and the number of red foxes has decreased by about 15% compared to the previous year. The use of bows and arrows requires hunters to have a deep understanding of red fox behavior.
Yes. Yeah. Good.
In addition, hunters also need to know the hunting terrain well so that they can hide and move to avoid areas without cover. While the Vancouver area takes extreme measures to control red foxes, people in Alberta use leg pin traps to control the species. This method allows hunters to avoid direct contact with red foxes, reducing the risk of rabies transmission. Setting traps on flat terrain requires hunters to choose locations with fox tracks near trails. Leg pin traps need to be firmly anchored to the ground to ensure that when caught, foxes cannot escape. To attract red foxes to the trap, hunters use bait with a special scent such as animal fat or fish oil to increase the likelihood of them coming into contact with the trap. This scent will stimulate the fox's hunting instincts, leading them to the correct location of the trap, thereby increasing the success rate when using this method. According to a survey by the Canadian Wildlife Service, a red fox trap can capture an average of 3 to 5 animals per day. They are most commonly found in open forest areas, grasslands and urban fringe areas where they can easily find food and shelter. However, in addition to the hunting effort, hunters need to be responsible for checking the traps at least 12 hours a day. This ensures that the traps are working effectively, are not affected by weather or other environmental factors, and help optimize the hunting process and minimize damage to other animals.
These approaches have been great at stopping the spread of some invasive species. Got any ideas for even better solutions? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can all dive into it together. Thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, be sure to tell your friends about us too so they can check it out. Bye and see you in the next video.